Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm here with Pietro talking a little bit about his experience at Micro Solidarity Summer Camp. Pietro and I were two of the lead chefs during camp this year, along with our friend Diane. And Pietro, why don't you start off just by explaining a bit about how you showed up to that role and what you were doing at summer camp?
So yeah, we had a few meetings before showing up at camp, and I got to know all the kitchen team, and it felt very colloquial, and but I was excited to meet all the other people in real life because I'd been involved in micro solidarity for almost 2 years, but I've never been to a real in-person event. So I was kind of a bit afraid and excited to meet this, yeah, this experiment, or I don't know, this solidarity thing. And um, I had I had in my mind this image. Okay, I'm gonna do two dinners, and then lunch is gonna be leftovers. It's gonna be really easy, and uh, um, these two dinners are gonna be intense, but I'll have like plenty of time to prepare them. And we I planned the recipes for those and everything in advance. So I was a bit scared because I've never had cooked for so many people, um,
Which we were
but also,
almost 50 people, so it was quite a crowd.
yeah. But I had experience in cooking for like 30-ish, 20, 30 people. So I thought, it's gonna be like that. It's gonna be okay. And I did some cooking classes and cook
I'm
a lot
hearing
at home.
like maybe there was something that happened between expectation and reality that was a little askew.
Yeah, so I think so yeah, I had planned to prepare like all the recipes, even like the lunch backup recipes. But then I got sick and I thought, I'm still gonna have time at camp, and then it was a lot
Mm.
actually, like the cooking and the responsibility and being on time, and also there was a lot other stuff going on at camp that um, I hadn't expected so much. So I hadn't planned on doing all the extra activities, more on like looking a bit. And if I have time, I'm just going to join a session there or talk to someone or just to get to know people. So my plan was just to make good friends and not like do or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you did something during one of the cooking shifts that I thought was rather extraordinary and is the motivation behind me wanting to sit down and get this interview with you and give you a chance to share the story. Because what happened on a factual level is that you woke up on, I guess it was day 5 of the event. You had your dinner shift that evening, and you decided that you were going to blindfold yourself at the start of the shift and remain blindfolded, which you did end up doing all the way through. By the time I'd gotten blindfolded and we were eating dinner together, and we'll get into that, I think. But you stayed blindfolded until we had finished eating the dinner. And I realized that to onlookers who didn't have the context that I had, because we just had this kind of close working relationship, this probably seemed something between weird and insane. If they didn't know what was going on for you to inspire this choice. And so this is me wanting to give you a chance to share that side of it. And you had sent me some of your personal notes from the event. So I understand you were having some kind of intense experience. Either I'm not sure when it started. You can speak for yourself, but it really something started to happen like the evening before or the morning of. Can you drop us into that and what was happening for you?
So yeah, it was a lot going on inside myself. I think one thing was just the mental load from cooking and delegating stuff. And at the start, I thought, okay, I have to delegate everything. I don't want to touch too much stuff. But then when it got really stressful, of course, I'm gonna cut because I'm faster than the helpers who might not have as much experience in cutting onions or whatever. If we need the stuff, I'm just gonna join in. And then it was really hard for me at the same time to delegate the work and to improvise the lunch recipes and keep it all together. And also just the high energy from cooking. I didn't eat a lot, I didn't sleep a lot. And at the same time, we had our daily pod meetings, which gave me a lot of strength because we always went to the forest. And especially Nati, who was the only constant part throughout the week in my pod, she like balanced the energy somewhat. And every time I came out and I was like more relaxed, more able to focus again. And so I thought, okay, there is just this part of support going on here at camp. So I had the feeling that okay, some people are trying to help me, and um, at the same time, I was afraid. Okay, I have this other big meal coming up, and I had because of the sleep deprivation, kind of a hard time concentrating and putting my thoughts straight.
Hmm.
And um, I so what happened was I tried to go to bed early, but sometimes there was like a bonfire or a party. I just didn't get to bed too early, and I always woke up with the sunrise, which was I think at 5 or something. And um, this I don't know I couldn't get to sleep, and I thought, okay, I'm really it's really a lot right now. So also, yeah, I had some really deep encounters with people at the camp, which I almost couldn't handle because normally I'm really looking for these things. Like I really want to deeply connect with people and I really want to be close to people. But this also gives me a lot of things to think about. So in the morning, oftentimes I just lay in bed when I was awake and I had all these voices coming that like told me something during the day. I was like almost dreaming, half awake,
Hmm.
processing everything that was going on. And I think this was like the third day where I hadn't slept well and was feeling this sense of overwhelm. And so I was like, okay, I have to get out of my tent. I can't stay here anymore. I have to get fresh air. And I just started walking into the woods. And then I started crying because all the stress like poured out of me. And then I went to there was like a room in this place where we stayed, which was surrounded by trees, and there was a room in the middle which had nice panoramic windows and overseeing a small pond and the the nice scenery. And somehow at the first day, I think someone told us it's really hot in there, don't go in there. And nobody ever was in there. And I just thought, okay, it's night now, so it can't be too hot. I just went inside there and there was a nice mattress, very comfy. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna lie here. Maybe I can just relax a bit. And yeah, I think also another context with me was I really wanted to be present and um, mindful with the conversations I was having at camp. So I really tried to bring my 10 years of meditation experience to the talking and listening and observing other people, which is, I think, also just a lot of information pouring in for like my body to process, and my mind, and also heightened my awareness and made it harder to like calm down. And so I almost had like I when I lay down on this mattress, I had again like these voices like coming at me, and I was like just trying, okay, just accept it, just let it go through, like everything is welcome here, and even if it's like and then I it like I felt this buildup of energy inside myself. So it felt like I had a lot of energy in my body, but I didn't have a lot of energy in my mind. I couldn't like stay calm in my mind, but my body was like boiling and producing energy. So, oh.
Mm.
So yeah, I laid down, and then I had felt like an explosion, and like a release of energy inside myself, and I started laughing and crying, and this, I don't know, lasted for maybe half an hour. And after that I was really calm and relaxed, like all my muscles were like, oh, I'm finally like, I can finally relax now. And then I kind of felt, oh, there is so much help going on here. And like, this is about, so this camp is also about help and asking for help. And then, maybe I can communicate to others that I need help. And the most stressful thing for me was not doing the chopping or doing like the small chores in the kitchen, but just um, having everything in my mind and holding every person. So I thought I need help doing that.
Mm.
So how can I how can I communicate this need? And of course I was like very relaxed, and I'm thinking like, well, yeah, I had even like my eyes closed so that I don't get the sunlight, and my mind doesn't think it's day already, because I wanted to like tell my body, no, no, it's still night, you have to sleep, and tomorrow you're gonna stay in bed because it's still dark.
Mm.
And then I was thinking like, oh, but this is actually really nice having this thing here. And um, I think I was listening to some non-sleep deep rest, and it's like, oh, now open your eyes and see how much information goes through your eyes. And I was like, I can just keep my eyes closed. And this is really nice. It's like a lot less going on. And um, then I had this idea, okay, yeah, if I'm blind, like it's obvious that I can't like do everything in the kitchen. I need help. So if I just communicate that I'm gonna be blind during the cooking session, then everything will work out, and I'm just gonna test the camp if it's like, if the help is actually strong enough to like allow something like this. Like throwing myself in and doing a leap of faith. Oh yeah, this.
So, how I love this. I'm curious about that moment where you're making this decision and you're having this thought about like, let's see if I'm met by the camp. And
Mhm.
can you say more about that? What were there things that were giving you confidence that it would turn out that way and you would be met with support? Was there a part of you that was worried it would fall flat? Like, where were you at with feeling like you
Yes,
were
so I
following
was a
the
little
plan?
worried. Uh, yeah, I was a little worried because I thought, okay, this is also kind of a crazy idea, like going around blind, and
With knives, etc. Yeah, kind of crazy, yeah.
putting something like being blind like out of. I thought like, wow, but this is also such a powerful idea that like reducing your ability in one way, and also having this thought about being blind made me able to see, or something like this. And so um, I also once had this experience in a dark wood forest. Yeah. And I remember coming out of the dark forest and feeling how my senses were suddenly heightened and everything was more intense and real. And so this was nice. And I was thinking like, oh, this is truly something. There is something there. I want to like try this, but I also had the like I wanted to ask kind of for permission. So in the morning, I introduced some people to the idea and told them, yeah, I had this crazy experience and I want to do the cooking blindfolded, and just waited for the reactions. And also wanted to make sure everything went all right. And I still like um, took my responsibility seriously. So uh, yeah, I actually encountered Rich, and he told me about this arc of like helping and receiving help. And he told me, yeah, first you learn to ask for a little help, then you ask for a lot of help, and then you are able to provide help. And so I thought kind of I went at it backwards. I tried to provide a lot of help, and then I asked for a little help, and then I'm asking for a lot of help, and then who knows?
Mm.
And yeah, so this gave me the confidence. Okay, now I'm gonna ask for the most amount of help possible that I can think of, and I'm just gonna blindfold me. I love this idea, and I'm just gonna go with it. And yeah, and then I you had like these sessions. So I think when we were cooking, you already like felt there is a need to get maybe also more involvement in the kitchen. And so you tried these sessions. Like, I don't remember. Do you still know the names?
We had the apple processing party while being sweet to each other. And we had sad girl onion time.
Yeah. So you provided these sessions, and and I thought, okay, now this is my session. So for the day, I'm gonna provide the Zen and the Art of Chopping session, and I'm gonna announce that I'm gonna cook blindfolded. And uh this um this thing is gonna work. And I like I had it. I kind of felt that it's gonna work out. And um even in the morning, like I said, if you don't come help during the session, there won't be dinner. So I was like, okay, I'm telling everyone, so it's everyone's responsibility now.
Right, right. And so, um, yeah, I want to ground this though in what I believe was a lot of thoughtful intentionality from your part, like just to really highlight that piece so it doesn't sound like, oh, Pietro just threw his hands up and was like, whatever. Because in my perspective, that's really not what you did. I thought that you handled it in a really thoughtful way that leveraged the design of the summer camp. So, of course, the main way that we decided the agenda every day was through this open space setting. And so you arrived that morning at the start, just like you're saying, you stood up and you said, I'm going to have this session, Zen and the Art of Cooking. I'm going to blindfold myself. And throughout that day, I saw you really prepare like anyone would for their session, right? You mapped out or you wrote out in detail all your menus so you could hand them on a physical piece of paper to someone else and just transmit that information that was needed to be known for someone to take that on. And yeah, I just saw a lot of intentionality so that by the time dinner was rolling around and I went into the kitchen, I actually saw you blindfolded. You're there cutting cucumbers with Alex. And I'm like, I'm feeling good about it because you're like really intentionally doing it. And Alex is there, like just in case. I feel like, okay, at least there's someone minding the situation with Pietro. I feel good about it. So, yeah, that's just to highlight like
Yes, I think so.
thoughtful.
That one of them. Yeah, thank you for noticing that. Yeah, one of the things I thought, because I kind of felt that I'm not at the top of my game in my mind. So like I really had to focus to do these menus, to like write them down in detail and like order everything and split them up and make them easy to understand and sort them in my mind. But I thought what I could provide was like a presence and an energy. And I wanted to transmit that and to embody that at the space. So I actually stayed in the kitchen for the whole day trying to prepare this. But I had this one thing. I would only work if there was at least one person helping at the moment. So sometimes I was just sitting there at the table waiting for someone to come for help,
Oh my God.
or and just looking around and asking people that passed if they would help. And
Wow, this went deep. Okay.
yeah, and also not many people got to experience it, but um every like I think we had like 4 sessions during the day, and I moved mine every time like the session was over. I moved it to the next slot so that it was available all the time in the kitchen. And always at the start of the cooking session, I invited people to join me in the pavilion where I meditated in the morning, to just share a bit of this energy and this openness I had received in the morning. And I wanted to like show people, like give them a taste of the Zen experience, of the Zen part of it, and really try to like have these short meditations throughout the day to keep me present throughout the experience, and to transmit this energy to others and invite them. So this was like one of the like this was the most like this was my highest priority. Like how can I bring the energy that is needed to the cooking, even though my mind is not like fully working, but what can I do and how can I support everything so that it comes together. So yeah, I really tried to think creatively of how can I prepare this, because I'm going to be blind. So what do I have to do to enable this? Because one of the things I observed at camp that I really liked, and I've never, I think, experienced in any other context, is how the organizers of the camp are not the founders of the movement. Are you still there?
Mhm.
I think the
Yeah.
connection. Yeah. Okay. So, and this was like, I saw this the first day and I was really impressed by how, oh, there is the people who are organizing this, they maybe only did one summer camp before that, and now they have support from the founders, but they are free to make the decisions. And so I also wanted to like bring this part of micro solidarity to the cooking. So there would be some kind of person that has to step in for me at night and take over the like the role I had, and maybe like a group of people, but um yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, the thing I love about the way you managed your internal personal experience during camp was, from my perspective, you really utilized this unique social situation we were in, and you transformed it into an invitation, this internal process that you were in of really learning to ask for and receive help. You made it an invitation for everyone to play along with you in this little container that you had made of like, this is what's going on with Pietro, and we're all here together in the spirit of micro solidarity. And like, what's more micro solidarity than inviting someone to step up in that way, like you're saying, to hold some part of this role alongside you, to support this really powerful, inspiring process that you were going through. And it came from a place of like, there was some difficulty and tension and challenge, and you were processing it. And you came to this internal place of what sounds like some kind of powerful release and then transformed that energy further into this wider invitation. Yeah, I this is why I'm in love with this story, is I just feel like you know, you did it in a way that wouldn't have been possible outside the container of the summer camp. And so is there
Totally.
anything, maybe kind of as we wrap up here, is there anything still remaining about like how did the camp make this possible for you?
Yeah, so the open space principles, like I think invited me to like share a session and you preparing other sessions around cooking because that hadn't occurred to me before. I was like, okay, I can do something around meditation or maybe, yeah, I thought about something in the forest or I don't know, some circling or I don't something like that. But I hadn't thought about bringing the kitchen into this open space. So you open this door and like the whole container of the micro solidarity camp where everybody is invited to take ownership of the camp and also the encouragement I received by people in the space and the support. So I saw this happening and I wanted to bring it even more like in a playful, almost theatrical fashion, bring it to like to yeah, as like I don't know, to life. Yeah. And yeah, I if because you said like wrapping up and I just wanted to add one more thing
Yeah.
too because the arc hadn't finished yet.
Yeah.
So my arc of helping and giving help and being able to help, I felt so empowered by this, um, by this, um, by this receiving help, and I felt so energized. And after the dinner, I felt so relieved. But I still had, I think, one more lunch to cook left, and I kind of decided because watching you and Diane always in the kitchen, I thought, okay, now I'm like feeling healthy and strong again. In because at the start of the camp, I was like kind of a bit sick, and I thought, okay, now I'm going to be able to give a lot of help because I feel so strong. I want to give everything back I received. So, and but I still wasn't really sleeping very well. So the next night I couldn't sleep again and it was really hard again. I woke up very early again and then I had this inner like I had a similar experience as the other day before. I was like walking a lot, like 2 hours, but really before going to sleep this time because I wasn't even able to go to sleep. So this was before the last night, actually. So when I already had finished all the cooking, but just from the overwhelm, and I had another release in the morning, which was like as powerful as the first one, and again made me feel relaxed. And I realized that okay, it's really nice to receive help, and it's really nice to want to give help, but also I have to do this with myself. So and then there was like it clicked kind of in a way. I like the same way I am helping other people, I can show up for myself. It's okay to help myself, to be like the person. And this is another part of the micro solidarity, like the one person, the internal family. And I like visualized like the people that were around me at camp and how they showed up for me. And then I'm like, okay, I can be this person that showed up for me to myself right now because I need this. And this morning, this was like, okay, now I'm starting with myself. I'm going to clean up my tent. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to take a walk as long as it needs because to calm me down. And yeah, then um, this was the last step or the maybe just the next step in the arc of asking and receiving help.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I'm hearing something in there where it came back around and with this realization, I have to show up for myself first to be able to continue like giving out this energy to others. Hmm. Well, I am continuing to be lit up by going through and diving into what this was for you. As your friend at camp, spending that part of this experience with you, I had a lot of fun, and you used the word like theatrics or something, and so I appreciate being invited to be cast into the play that this was. This live art, I think you called it in other places. Yeah, live art performance. So, anyone out there who listened, thank you for coming along and also stepping into this
I
invisible.
just want to share also my gratitude because I think you really also helped a lot in communicating this during the camp because I think I might not have done the best job at making everyone understand like all the thoughts that I put in, but just try to do it and not explain as much. And I think you got a lot of people around to the idea that this is something interesting happening there, and you like had an inside view and communicated this outwards. And I think this is also what made it possible. And yeah, I also want to thank Diane for just being there for me during the camp in the kitchen and always checking up if everything is okay. Yeah.
I think we could also give a shout out to Kuba, who also blindfolded himself along with us for dinner when we were eating dinner. There were the three of us who went in blindfolded
Yes.
that part, and that was also fun.
And Miriam for like doing how it like and yeah, Jesse for doing a lot of the organization. Yeah. So and
Absolutely,
all
the
the other
heroes
people who
of
helped
the
at
hosting
camp and
team, Sarah and
not
Alex.
have to thank
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah. Thanks, everyone. Well, thank you, Pietro, for spending this time, and we'll close it out here.
It was a big
Maybe-
pleasure.
yeah, maybe this inspires someone else out there to do something at summer camp. So until then, ciao.
Bye.